Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show with your hosts, Rusty Buckets and Uncle Buck. Now, let's get to the show.
What is up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Wow, wish it was Wednesday. Happy Tuesday from the Two Bucks Sports Show. I'm your co-host, Rusty Buckets, who in my old age, I'm getting senile, and I don't know what day it is. But I do know that I've got my guy, Drew Gann, a.k.a. Uncle Buck, here on the mic with me today. Uncle Buck, how's it going today, buddy?
It's good. It's a good day. I've enjoyed kind of the overcast nature of the last, few days. I think it's just maybe fall's feeling like it's setting in. Not a downpouring rain, but just that weird little morning, haze. I've kind of enjoyed it. It kind of feels like I've kind of let my shoulders relax a little bit. And, before like the full-on malaise of winter gets here, it just kind of feels a little relaxing.
It does, right? Like it just feels, like you said, like fall is kind of here, kind of rearing its ugly head, if that's such a thing. But I'm happy about it, man. It's good. Yeah, I don't think so. I think
fall doesn't have an ugly head.
No.
Winter and summer have ugly heads.
I like the coolness, the crispness. I like that it's cool now. It's getting Maggie and I ready for our trip in a couple of weeks. We're going to be in Boston and New York in like peak foliage season. Super excited about that. We're actually taking a train from Boston to New York to get to see the foliage. So that'll be fun. But before all that, we got a jam-packed show for y'all today. We've got Tuesday tastings. We've got Grizzlies Beale Street Heat Check. We've got some college football openings and, of course, all the happenings in the sports world last night on the sports equinox when all sports were played last night. But first, I'm going to ask Uncle Buck some questions in the Tuesday tastings today.
That's right. It's the Tuesday edition of the Two Bucks Sports Show, the number 2 show of the week. That's the Two Bucks, and it's taken Tuesdays. I don't know. I can't think of anything more to say with twos here. But this is a segment where we talk about food. You know why we chose Tuesday? Because it rhymes with tasting, and we needed something that day. So everything's got to be alliteration around here. So, Rusty, you got questions for me? This is something we haven't done on this segment before.
Yeah, so it's something we've kind of tackled in some previous episodes for sure. But going to a Mississippi State football game this past Saturday just really got me in the tailgate mood. And it just made me, want to be out there under the tent, having some beverages with the TV, other games on. You got your tailgate foods around you, Drew. And so it kind of got me wondering, like, what are some of your favorite tailgate foods as we're still in the midst of college football season? At the one that I went to, they had some Zaxby's. They had some homemade like Mississippi State cookies with a helmet in the state of Mississippi and a bulldog. They had some wings there. Just kind of, what are some of your favorite tailgate foods?
Listen, when you talk about going to a ball game, I'm always like a sucker for barbecue nachos, but it kind of violates every rule that I hold dearly when it comes to like eating on the go. Like it is not a portable food. It is a messy food. And so, this is going to sound sacrilegious, I think, but there's nothing better for like a chill game environment in which you're trying to socialize and hang out and watch some football and throw a football, whatever you want to do, than just a solid, like smoked sausage. Like, I don't want a brat. They're too big. I love a smoked sausage. You can get the ones filled with jalapenos and cheddars or whatever. And I don't want a hot dog, so I'm going to settle on a smoked sausage. But you're talking one hand eating, a little mustard, a little bit of relish, minimal mess, and it's something you can have while doing that. Outside of that, if you want to cater Chick-fil-A every time. Like Chick-fil-A, the Chick-fil-A catering trays are amazing.
Yeah, and it's all about, you said it before, talking about pizza, talking about food. It's about portability. You need to be able to stand and talk to your friends, watch a ball game. So you can't be sitting down and eating like I'm sure there's some that do it, like steak and a whole potato, like the whole thing, right? Yeah. But give me like you said, I want some sausage balls. I want some like the little like a mini weenies and the barbecue sauce has been cooked in the crock pot all morning. Chicken wings are perfect because again, you can eat those one-handed while you're
but
there.
that's getting
Chips
a little on
dips.
you can't carry on conversation to eat chicken wings.
I can.
Or it's
I'm
harder.
messy.
It's harder.
It's fine.
And I
like
love
sliders.
barbecue nachos. I
Give
love
me
barbecue
sliders
nachos so much.
like the little small sliders are perfect to eat with one hand as well. One of the things that we did in college when it would get cold is we do like a soup or chili tailgate where you bring crock pots with soups and chilies out there when the weather's cold. And again, you got a bowl you can eat it with a spoon while you're standing there. And like, I'm just a sucker for soup anyway in the cold weather. And so those were always a big hit late in the season.
Yeah, I think I may have to pitch that to my wife for tonight. That's a good idea. I'm a big fan of tailgate food, but it's got to be the right kind. I've said ad nauseum I'm a sucker for barbecue nachos, but that's probably the worst food you could eat at like a stadium because you have no table. You're eating barbecue nachos out of your lap. It's just disgusting, but it just tastes good. And so you get to a tailgate, any form of chicken. I love a slider. A slider is a great pick. It's an absolute great pick. And then just you're talking about it's easy on the cook, it's easy on the eater. Just a good smoked sausage.
Yeah. It's, sliders, you can church them up so many different ways, right? With the ham Swiss, with the butter and sesame on top or the poppy seeds on top. I've found like a little spoof for Chick-fil-A, little chicken sliders that I do for me and Maggie. You can cut down burger patties to be the right size. Like there's so many different ways you can do sliders. And again, it's all about portability. I got a plate in one hand. I got this in the other. Pigs in a blanket. Ooh, sausage rolls. Maybe think about pigs in a blanket. The Sister Schubert rolls with the little hot dog sausage inside. It's a good call. When I was talking about party pies, I'm not real sure what that is. It makes me nervous. Like, is that part of like, is there like kangaroo meat in that? Like what goes in a party pie? Maybe that's an Australian tailgate tradition. I don't know.
Party pie seems like it could also be on Urban Dictionary, and we're talking about something like we're generally talking about food here, people.
Yeah, that's it. So calm down. Jared made an elite food. Growing up, we'd have Brenner, like breakfast for dinner, once or twice a week. My parents,
some words don't need to be combined.
Yeah, well, I've heard Brenner my whole life, but we'd have like bacon, eggs, and biscuits one night. We'd have pancakes another night because it was cheap. You could do it in bulk and feed two growing boys. And so breakfast for dinner was a staple in our house.
If I'm cooking dinner, we're eating breakfast. That's just kind of my shtick. I think once you have kids and the wife enjoys to cook and provide dinner, which my wife does, she's very old-fashioned like that. On the nights that she tags in Dad, we're having pancakes and bacon. Like, that's just my staple. I'm sorry. I have pancakes and eggs and bacon. I'll go buy a jug of orange juice, and everybody's happy.
And especially with the emphasis on 11 a.m. kickoffs in the SEC this year, a breakfast tailgate with some pancakes and bacon on the griddle outside of the stadium. You got like a French press of coffee right there that's staying hot.
Yeah,
you can do and if it's a tailgate on it and biscuit, oh my gosh, come on, bro.
If it's a tailgate, it's much like golf course rules apply at a tailgate. So if you're starting your tailgate 8:30, 9 o'clock, you can pull out the Baileys, or you could some mimosas or
Irish coffee. Beer is a breakfast drink. I mean,
but you could do if you prefer. I don't, but if you prefer a Bloody Mary, I do. That is on par.
I do like a good spicy Bloody Mary. A coffee stout, like got to get up to get down, would be a good one as well. I know Ground Seed Brewing's got a couple of stouts that are going to be coming out as the cooler weather turns around. Like, something like that would be great. Again, breakfast food is just elite to eat at any time. And as good friend of the show, Lauren Massey always says, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. And that's how we spend it.
That's a young man's game. The young man's game.
It's all about pacing yourself. It's all about like alternating some water here and there, because too many beers before lunch and I'm going to be napping at a 2:30 kickoff. But like if you pace it with some water in there, you're going to be just fine.
That sounds like a pretty good idea for you if Mississippi State's playing at 2:30. Yeah, man, you probably should start early and schedule your nap right at kickoff.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I know.
But
Ole Miss is hosting a night game this week. It's weird. Yeah. It's the only one ever, I think.
We don't get one of those. So.
South Carolina. So,
yeah, we don't get one of those. But that's our Tasting Tuesday for today. On the other side of this little bumper video, we did have a Memphis Grizzlies game last night, and we need to talk because it wasn't the best effort on the road, but is it worth a crash out?
Yeah, so for anybody who decided to stay up till basically midnight last night to watch the Memphis Grizzlies finish their first road game of the season in Oakland, California against Golden State. I guess they're in San Francisco now, not in Oklahoma. Against the Golden State Warriors. The Grizzlies fell 131 to 118, a 13-point loss, but it was much worse than that through most of the second half. I helped Jared with the post-game bounce last night, and I told him during the post-game bounce, like, listen, I feel like you're just this is not the first one to go solo on, I think. You got a loss on the road at midnight to Golden State Warriors. Draymond got his typical flagrant one that he's going to get every single time he plays Memphis. And you may have some guys crashing out, so just let me kind of help you out with the comments here. And so there were some mild crash outs, I guess. One of them we put in timeout for a little while.
Sure. As one has to.
I hope I guess comes back. I hope he didn't get his feelings hurt too bad. It was a late night. But as my mama Kate used to say, nothing good happens after midnight, and he decided to air out his frustrations on a live chat. And so, hey, if you're going to do it anywhere, do it with us.
Yeah, and here's the thing. It's the first road game of the year. It's first true test of this offense and defense to see if it travels. It was our first opportunity to see what it looks like on the West Coast against a good team. And it just didn't go well, right? Like, Draymond is going to do Draymond things. The Warriors have been scoring at a pretty high clip so far this year. They are the second highest scoring team in the NBA. Do you know who the first highest scoring team is?
Well, I don't know, but I did look at the standings yesterday, so I'm going to assume that you're asking me this because it's a trick question, and it's a team I would have never have guessed before. But at the top of the NBA standings right now is the Chicago Bulls. So I'll say
not
Chicago.
The Bulls. It's not the Bulls. It's the Charlotte Hornets, averaging 136 points per game.
I should have guessed. That's
absolutely
obvious. Yeah.
Cooking on offense right now. But the Warriors did the Warriors thing. They shot 44% from three last night compared to an abysmal 31% for the Grizzlies last night. And Drew, it's one of those things, and Wayno brings it up here. I like our chances with the full roster, right? Like, on a night when Ja and Jaren didn't have their best stuff, KCP didn't either, Jalen Wells didn't either, and we just didn't have another option besides Ja and Jaren. There's going to be nights where one of them or both of them, like last night, don't have their best stuff, and it's who's going to be able to step up. I think that's a role for a Ty Jerome when he comes back from his injury. I think Zach Edey can help with that by being just a force in the paint. And it's just another game where it's like, dadgum, if we were just healthy, if we just had our full roster, I think it could look different. And all in all, it's still not anything that's unfixable. It's still a new offense and a new system and a new team that is figuring out their way on the road. And there's no sense in crashing out. We are 4 games into the season on our Beale Street Heat Check. We are 2-2 so far. We've had 2 good performances, right? Opening night, battling with the Pelicans, beating the brakes off the defending Eastern Conference champ, Indiana Pacers, asterisk, I know. And then 2 losses where we didn't shoot the ball well against Miami and last night against Golden State. But we still got 78 more games to get this thing figured out. And I know that, these are early losses, but it's just 2.
Yeah.
So far.
I'm not here to crash out either. At the same time, I hate the we're not healthy argument. I mean, and I'm fatigued by it, I guess, because when are we?
I get it.
I guess.
I get it.
And so I just don't really care about that. Like, this is an NBA game. You play 82 of them things, as Sane said in our comment section last night, and it stuck. Play 82 of them, and you want to win all of them, and you got to roll the guys that you're with. And I just felt like the Grizzlies last night played a Golden State Warriors game, the game that they forced us into, and we couldn't get up and going. They were cool with playing a slower pace. You couldn't pivot. And listen, and it is really hard to play a fast pace when the other team is shooting 50% from 3. They finished at 44. They were shooting dang near 50% in the fourth quarter. And so it's just really hard to do that. And you had guys, Moses Moody and Curly, what's his name?
Pajimski.
Pods combined to shoot 10 of 14 from 3 last night. And so it wasn't our game. It wasn't our game, and that's okay. That's okay. I just don't want to blame injuries yet. Like, you've got Ja and Jaren, and that should be enough to stay in it. It's early. I'm not crashing out. Jaren was really not good at all last night. I thought he was not aggressive in the slightest. He only took 6 shots on the game. He wasn't in foul trouble, so I don't really know what the deal was with that. Everything felt left-footed. If there's anything that I can give you hope for, I'm going to read you a stat. This comes from at Parker VB on X, and I'm sure most of you guys have seen it. Through 4 games, the Grizzlies' 3-point shooting percentages from their from 5 players: Ja, KCP, Jalen Wells, Jaren, and Santi. Ja shooting 11% from 3 in the first 4 games of the season. Wells, KCP, Jaren, and Santi are all shooting, which is weird, 28% from 3. Those numbers are going to go up. It will regress to the mean. These guys did not forget how to shoot. The shots are there. They're going to be open. That's going to correct itself. Again, this is an 82-game season. I'm not super worried, but at the same time, you're not going to hear me very often say, just wait till we get healthy, just because I'm so sick of saying those words.
That's fair, but I do agree with JaMychal Cole's take last night, and it's just I'm not an advocate for the non-Ja Jaren minutes. Steal a breather here and there when you have to. But Memphis led 49-48 when Jaren went out of the game, leaving a lineup of Small, KCP, Conchar, Coward, and Jock. And the Warriors immediately went on an 8-0 run. Jock comes back in and immediately gets a 3-point play to cut it to 4. So, like, if you're going to, like, right now especially, I'm not blaming injuries, but right now especially, I need one of these 3 on the court at all times. I'm not saying they need to play 48 minutes or pull a Josh Hart, but Ja, Jaren, and Cedric Coward, because he's been a good offensive player for us, I think needs to be on the court at some point. One of those 3 need to be on the court the entire game, especially Ja and Jaren. You just got to overlap those breaks a little bit better to where you can get them closing out for sure. But I need our superstars. This team is constructed around those 2. I need one of those 2 on the court at all times. That was one of our biggest beefs with Taylor Jenkins. He would run out these lineups, and he would have Ja and Jaren sit forever with our bench players. And on a night when our bench is good, like against Indiana, okay, get them some rest. But a night like last night when our bench wasn't good enough against an elite Warriors team, you got to have one of those 2 on the court at all times. And I would start to lump Cedric Coward in there.
Yeah. That didn't lose us the game. I did note that because T.I. has done a pretty good job through 3 games of keeping one of them on the court at all times, even with Jaren having some foul trouble in 2 of the 3 games previous. And so I just thought this was kind of trying to steal a rest there, and it bit us, but it didn't cost us the game. What cost us the game was allowing them to shoot 50% from 3 and Moses Moody and Pods going on. Like, you did an incredible job. The Grizzlies did an incredible job of denying Steph Curry the basketball. He only took, I think, 11 shots. He had 16 points. Jimmy Butler's night, I think he had 20, but it wasn't like he was killing us by any means. But you just got beat by Pods and Moses Moody, and it's just a weird night. And
I never said that that's what cost us the game, but
I know you
runs
didn't,
that can end up like if those in an aggregate can be an issue. I just need one of those guys on the court at all times.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not talking to you necessarily, but there are some folks out there that's teetering, and so I'm trying to give them a reprieve.
Yeah, there you go. But the Memphis Grizzlies are going to be fine. We're 4 games into this young season. We got a late win again on Wednesday night. I'll have the post-game bounce after the Suns game on Wednesday night. A game that we need to win for a few reasons. Number 1, to get back above 500. Number 2, we need the Suns to continue to lose, because as it sits right now, the Grizzlies would be in the running for the top 2 lottery picks because the Suns are bad and the Magic. Both teams have only 1 win on this young season. The Grizzlies could end up with 2 top 3 picks, which I think 2 top 3 picks in a playoff appearance can go a long way at salving some wounds for sure.
Yeah. Listen, you need the Suns win just because you don't want to help them out any at all. Like, we're not, in my opinion, going to be competing with them for a playoff spot. It's an 82-game season. You're going to lose some. You should win. You're going to win some. You should lose. All that evens out. It's just that team. You don't need to help them out any.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to give them a leg up by any stretch of the imagination. But Tonight we do have a handful of games, Drew, and over on FanDuel, you can get the Bucks and Knicks. Bucks are 1.5-point home favorite. Interesting enough, on the second night of a back-to-back, the Warriors are a 2-point home underdog to the visiting Los Angeles Clippers. You can get the Hornets at the Heat, Heat being a 6-point favorite, and the Kings and Thunder are the late one, where the Thunder are a 10.5-point home favorite. That feels like a big number, but if anybody can do it, it's the Thunder on the Kings.
Yeah. I wouldn't bet against the Thunder. They played a lot of close games. You know, Indiana went to double overtime with them. Houston went to double overtime with them. I'm not sure what they've done since then, but I know the first 2 games of the year went into double overtime. And the Knicks are going to be without Cat still, I believe. So I'm curious about this Clippers team. You know, on opening night, they got absolutely drilled by Utah. Utah's put together a pretty respectable season. Lauri Markkanen went for a 50-burger last night in a game against, I believe that was Sacramento or New Orleans.
Yes. I got it pulled up right here. I was looking to see, has Jalen Williams is not back playing yet.
No, not the good one.
He's not the good one. I mean, the other one doesn't matter. I'm talking about the good one.
J. Will is playing. J. Dub is not. So, and I'm interested in that Hornets. You know, what's the Hornets record so far this year? Because they are going to score a ton of points. I was impressed with them in the preseason.
Yeah, and they're young. The biggest thing is, just like with the Grizzlies, is health. Can the Hornets stay healthy? Brandon Miller is already out, going to miss some time. Let's see. The Hornets are currently 2-1 on this young NBA season. They beat the Wizards on Monday. They lost to the Sixers over the weekend, and they blew out the Nets 136-117 on their first game. They have scored 136, 121 in the loss, and 139 in their 3 games so far.
Sometimes the best defense is an unstoppable offense. I mean, if they're gonna average 130 points a game, they're gonna be in the playoffs. There's just no other way to slice it.
Yeah, and Melo is averaging 28.3 points. Miles Bridges 19.3. Colin Sexton 18.7. Rookie Con Knipple 15.5. Brandon Miller 14.5. And Diabate at 10.3 are their leading scorers.
What about the other big man, the guy that dominated Jaren, Kalkbrenner?
He is averaging 25 minutes, 9.3 points, 7.7 rebounds per game, averaging 3 fouls a game. Not bad. Not a bad start to the young campaign. Liam McNeely has only played in 1 game. I think he's battling a little bit of an injury. But the 2-headed monster of Colin Sexton and LaMelo Ball at point guard is working out fairly well for them so far.
Listen, if you are scared that LaMelo Ball is too pretty for basketball, put him next to Colin Sexton. That man, I love him so much.
Dog.
I hope for his sake that he turns this team and everybody can stay healthy and that Charlotte can compete, because he's always just been sent to Siberia. You know, he started in Cleveland when they were awful. And then he was traded in the Donovan Mitchell trade to Utah, and they were awful and tanking. And now he's at Charlotte, who's been awful. And so I hope that Charlotte can put it together, because I want to see that kind of playoff series so bad.
I had a hot take this morning. We did some hot takes on the Daily Grind this morning, and one of mine was that in the down Eastern Conference, Charlotte will host a first-round playoff series. And I would freaking love that, just to see those guys that can hoop, they can score. Now, I don't know that they're going any deeper than that. They may sneak in as a 9 or a 10 seed. Like, at this point, they just need to make the playoffs. But the way they're scoring, I would love to see them continue that throughout the year.
Yeah, and I mean, Brandon Miller's not shy to be in a shootout, you know? So.
Yeah, exactly. I just got a weird audio. Hang on, sorry.
Oh.
I'm looking
let me say it again. Brandon Miller is not scared of being in a shootout.
Yes, there it is. Sorry, like for some reason I adjusted my AirPod and it started playing you and Kenny's last episode on my iTunes. So I was hearing you talk and hearing you talk to Kenny, and I was like, my brain just shut down for a second. Yeah. Shout out to Apple Technology. But the NBA games for tonight, before we hit a commercial break, just a reminder, we are going to be at Grind City Brewing this weekend for the 901 Hot Wing Festival. Speaking of Tasty Tuesdays, the Wing Festival starts at 12 o'clock. Proceeds are going to benefit the Memphis Child Advocacy Center. So if you love beer, you love wings, you love supporting a good cause, come hang out. We're going to have football on TV all day long. The Wing Festival is from 12 to 6. Speaking of a shootout, Drew, there's going to be a shootout on the Grind City Brewing lawn for the best hot wings in Memphis. We're going to be a part of it. Our show's at 1:30. Jared and Drew and I are going to be there. I think I saw Edward in the comments that he was going to make an appearance the other day. Luke's going to try and make it down. He told me this morning, but it's going to be an awesome time. Make sure y'all come hang out with us this Saturday.
I hope Luke makes it. I've never met Luke in person before. I think he's the only one I haven't met.
Yeah. I've met him a couple times. He came down for the Ounce of Hope jiu-jitsu tournament, and then Maggie and I had breakfast with him on our Nashville weekend. Solid dude. Just a ton of fun, a ball of energy. I hope he can make it. It would be a great time for sure. But on the other side of the commercial break, we do have some college football head coaching openings that we're going to rank and we're going to talk about. So y'all stick with us after the commercial break as we start talking college football.
You know who the big all-in target is? That would be Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss.
Historically, Florida, much better football program than Ole Miss. I don't think it makes any sense. I think it's a lateral move at best for him to go to Florida. It's not the Spurrier era anymore. It's not the Urban Meyer era anymore. They haven't been consistently nationally relevant since Urban Meyer, which some people may be looking around going, that wasn't that long ago. Tim Tebow won the Heisman almost 20 years ago. Lane is the freaking president of Oxford right now. Like, he is the most beloved figure in that city currently. He can do no wrong. He has job security out the wazoo. He is beloved, and he can do whatever he wants in Oxford, Mississippi. You go to Gainesville, and you lose 4 or 5 games. I mean, we've seen it.
Go 8-4 2 years in a row.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 10 a.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Oh, shout out to my guy, Coach Isolo, bro. Like, it's two things he did that are so anti-Taylor Jenkins, bro. Was the art of John Conchar. I know what you provide. I know you provide rebound. I know you provide effort.
Yeah.
Give me some John Conchar minutes. Let me see what you do. Okay, your ass. Come sit back, buddy. Come sit back down. Come sit by me, son. We'll try it next game. I like that, man. The quick pull. Like, okay, man. Jitty, you looking ass. Come sit down. He didn't let a run get destroyed or let a run jump off or let a stretch of assness run with John Conchar in the game. You looking shitty. Come sit your jitty ass down. That's right. The quick pull, man. Pulling you before you get ass, bro. Like, I see the asses is coming, bro. I know there's an expiration date. I know that milk is going to sour, man. So just come sit down by me.
There's an expiration date on good ass. Now it's bad.
Yeah, be ready for Friday. I need that again. Yeah, man. It's just knowing you giving me all you're going to give me, bro.
Yes. Tune in to the Anthony Sain Show Monday through Fridays at 1 p.m. live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. In the heart of the Highland Strip for 27 years, Trilogy Tattoo has helped tell stories for Memphians for generations. Located at 530 South Highland, Richie and his team are waiting to help you tell yours.
From tattoos to piercings, your body art should be as unique as you are. Voted a Memphis Flyer top 3 tattoo shop in the city of Memphis since day one. Your story will be safe here at Trilogy Tattoo.
Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 11, and 3 to 11 on Sundays. They have convenient times waiting on you. Let Trilogy Tattoo help you tell your story.
Welcome back to the $2 Sports Show, Tuesday edition of the show. We have talked about food. We've talked about the Grizzlies and the NBA. Now we're talking about quite possibly the biggest topic that has ever broached the internet, because that's all I see on my feed, probably because I'm an Ole Miss fan. But it is just non-stop coaching carousel.
Yeah. So far in this young season, $168 million are owed to fired FBS coaches in some massive buyouts. I'm looking at you, Penn State. I'm looking at you, LSU, although like apparently they're trying to negotiate Brian Kelly's down. I saw something about that, but if not, he's owed like 50-something million with his walking papers.
The last I saw was that he was going to be owed like 50-something million dollars. There was no lump sum payment, so this is like Bobby Bonilla level stuff.
Yeah.
$740,000 a month for till you're paying out. So it's like ends up being 5-6 years of getting $800,000 a month. But
I could get used to that. I could live.
you'd never
comfortably
see
like
me
that.
again. You would never see
No.
me again.
I'd be like Jimbo fishing on a boat and playing golf somewhere. Y'all can have it. But it does open up a lot of coveted jobs, Drew. And so we're going to take a few minutes and we're going to talk through some of the openings. There are 8 or better college openings right now at some prestigious schools. And so we're going to talk for a few minutes and kind of rank what those jobs are opening. We can start at the top because I think we both agree that there's an obvious one-of-one job here. ESPN has ranked it. We'll give our take, and then I'll let you know what is like where they are ranked in the ESPN ranking done by Adam Rittenberg from the other day. But Drew, I think we can consensusly agree that one of these jobs is not like the other.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, when you think of like hotbed for like in-state talent, and I don't really subscribe to like where the players are at in a league in which you are getting paid. They can go literally wherever they want to. This isn't that day and time to where the kids typically stay home, except for an LSU. And it is the only state in the SEC in particular, but in the country, off the top of my head, that only has one institution there that has the pressure that is put on a kid from Louisiana to go to LSU. It's not split like Alabama or Mississippi or Florida. Or Georgia may be the closest other one, you know,
But Georgia
Tech just has such academic standards though that kind of you're picking from a different pot a lot from what Georgia's picking from.
Sure.
But LSU has is in a hotbed of talent. You can see that the buy-in's there, the money is there. The problem is they share kind of a problem that with Florida is that who's making the decisions, how are they all going to be in alignment there? In LSU, I don't know if you read the story from The Athletic detailing kind of the meetings that went on behind the scenes in Baton Rouge Saturday night, but the governor showed up and the governor had the final say. Like, in what world does the governor of a state have a pull, or not the pull, but actually have this deciding vote?
Say. I mean, it is Louisiana State University would be the only reason I could say that, but that just goes to show how deep this university means to the state. There's bigger fish to fry than the governor coming down to Baton Rouge and saying, hey, we need to fire our football coach. But you're right. Like, this team means something to Louisiana because even in this day and age of the transfer portal, they still recruit high school kids. They still get college scholarships, and they recruit the state of Louisiana really well. Louisiana always has a splattering of players across ESPN, Rivals, whoever you follows, top 100 lists, and most of them end up staying at LSU. There are deep pockets in the fan base, in the alumni, with the boosters. They have the money to pay these buyouts. They've shown you what they can do in the past before NIL, and with NIL, being able to keep some of these guys. But I'm curious where this job is going to go. We'll talk about candidates ad nauseum because, again, nobody's going to take this job before December of a sitting head coach, especially of a team that has any kind of legit postseason aspirations. But when you got former alumni like Jacob Hester, who has a loud voice within the fan base, his own show is calling for, we need an LSU guy. We need somebody that understands Louisiana, that understands LSU, recruiting the state, what it means to be a part of this program. I'm curious to see what that's going to do because that could change a lot of direction of the dominoes of the college football carousel, including your head coach in Lane Kiffin. There's a lot of moving parts, and I think we both agree as the number one opening in college football, the coaching carousel starts and stops with LSU. Once LSU has their guy, whether that be Lane Kiffin, Dan Lanning, or somebody we're not even thinking about, then the rest of the dominoes will fall.
I agree. I think that there's two things with LSU that are important to look at. Yes, they have money. how much money. This is not infinite here, and you are paying a massive buyout. You're buying out a staff. You're going to have to buy out another coach and pay their staff that comes in. It's not infinite money. And so I laid out on this show about how the most successful coaches that we would talk about right now, we would consider the most successful coaches, all were coordinators before it was their first head coaching job. Looking at Kirby Smart, Dan Lanning, those guys. And so I think there is some logic to that. And that also just comes with a cheaper price tag as well. I don't necessarily think that the best coach is the most expensive coach. And
Sure.
two is I don't typically buy fit. Winning makes you fit. I do believe that. Again, we have to separate LSU into a league of its own in a lot of these conversations. I've already done it once with the players. They're in a league of their own. They don't abide by this. I do believe fit matters more with LSU than anywhere else because they will eat their own.
Absolutely.
Brian Kelly was never going to work. If he had won, they would have stomached him, but that's what they would have been. It was just,
Right.
I'm stomaching him until
makes you-
we have an opportunity to can him because he doesn't fit. He doesn't buy in. He doesn't care about Louisiana.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say about LSU before we start moving on is LSU, like you said, he didn't care about the state of Louisiana. I'm afraid their arrogance is going to get in the way, and they're going to go and take all these
Very
massive
possible.
swings, right? For a Dan Lanning, a Marcus Freeman, a Lane Kiffin, like all these big swings. When if you want somebody who understands the state of Louisiana, you want somebody that has been around the block in the state of Louisiana. He may not even have, as Josh Pate said, he may not even have to sell his house. But John Summerall's right down the road in Tulane.
Yeah.
If you want a guy who wins, who is tough, who understands Louisiana, and is going to give you the best chance to be a tough, hard-nosed football like LSU is known to be, why not go get a guy who's made Tulane a tough, hard-nosed
Listen.
G5 competitor?
You do not have to talk to me and convince me about John Summerall. I've been on this since he was a coordinator, a linebackers coach at Ole Miss. They talked about him as a linebackers coach as if he was a freaking superstar. And so I've been on John Summerall for a decade now. And I was terrified that Mississippi State was going to – I'd much rather them have hired Jeff Lebby than John Summerall. I think John Summerall could be the cheapest, best bang for your buck, and also the best coach you could hire. And I think he's going to be in the SEC next year, whether it's at Auburn or it's going to be at LSU. I think he's quite possibly the best coach you could hire, and you're not, paying a guy like Lane or James Franklin or Dan Lanning $13 million a year.
Right. And I agree. There's too many openings in this cycle for him not to have an SEC job, right? Like Auburn or Arkansas could have had him last year. But he is going to land in the SEC somewhere, be it LSU, Florida, Auburn, Arkansas, Ole Miss. If Lane Kiffin takes the job, there's
what
a
I
lot
was
of
about to
opportunity.
say.
South Carolina is going to come open. Like John Summerall will be in the SEC as a head football coach.
If they decide to double down and put their money where their mouth is with Lane, and he sees the vision and they collide, and LSU hires Lane Kiffin, John Summerall would be my first call.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So, all right, we got a consensus number one. This is where it starts deviating. Everybody's list is a little bit different. Everybody's got LSU, and then there's a gap of the openings. And just to remind the good people listening at home, we've got LSU, Florida, Penn State, UCLA, Arkansas, Virginia Tech, Oklahoma, and Stanford are the openings that are listed as of yesterday by Field Yates. Who you got as the number 2 job?
And right now Auburn is not open. And so listen, I don't know, maybe it's SEC bias. I do think that Florida is the number 2 job. It's hard not to. They've got a really good brand. Florida as a brand is really good, and these coaches are going to rank them this way as well. I think that coaches would rank Florida over Penn State. You look at the conference you're playing in. You're looking at where the talent is geographically in the region. Now, Penn State's got talent there, and they're the only show in town in Pennsylvania. But if you compare that to a place like Florida or even L.A., like, there is no comparison to the talent there. I think Florida is the only state in the union that can have 3 teams that are really good and have the players to fill it. That's how much talent is in Florida. So I would put Florida too.
Yeah, and I mean, there's been years where there's been 4 really good teams when UCF has been at the top of their conference and they're still competitive in the Big 12. I would agree. I think that the coffers are deep in Florida. I think that there are some deep pockets at the University of Florida. And a Florida staffer this week on his way out did say, with money for the most part being equal going forward, this is not an elite job. And I agree. Shout out Memphis Amp for hitting the like. Hit the like while you're here for sure. Appreciate you, buddy. But I think that there is an eliteness kind of air to the job, to where like there has been success, and we've talked about it, to where coaches for whatever reason like to go where there has been previous success. And so the recipe has been there, right? You know, Steve Spurrier was a winner there. Urban Meyer was a winner there. Dan Mullen won a little bit there before things got weird. So you can go there and you can win. But like, there's been so much churning and turmoil. There was some bickering back and forth between Scott Strickland and Dan Mullen about the football facilities being behind like the rest of the SEC. Well, they caught those up under Billy Napier, and you didn't get the same production on the field. So with NIL opportunities, with the new facilities, I agree. I think Florida is the number 2 job. Call it SEC bias, whatever, but you're in a hotbed. You got a rich alumni base. You've got famous alumni that can help beat the drum in Tim Tebow, and these guys can kind of rally behind the university. ESPN has Penn State number 2, Florida number 3. I think you and I would probably flip both of those based on our conversation here. But I just think if you get an opportunity to go coach in the SEC, you take it, because that's where you're facing the best of the best week in and week out. And I've been seeing a lot, for whatever reason, a lot of these Indiana burner accounts coming up talking about how the Big Ten, somebody I saw yesterday, it said Iowa would beat 5 of the ranked SEC teams in this week's AP poll. And I'm like, brother, that's bold talk for somebody who's good all of a sudden and got worked in the college football playoff last year. But Florida would be bold, to me, the number 2 ranked opening job.
Yeah, I don't think that Iowa would be the team that I would throw up there as the martyr, I wouldn't volunteer Iowa as tribute. Listen, Florida's got to figure out how to pull the rope in the same direction. There's an obvious problem with their collective, and I think Scott Strickland does not do a good job of hiring football coaches. He does a good job of hiring basketball and baseball coaches.
He's hired 2 football coaches. He's got the rare opportunity to hire a 3rd as an athletic director. So he absolutely has to nail this one.
They're going to have to pull the rope in the same direction. You cannot have your prize recruit suing the university for not paying. Like, that's just an absolute no-brainer. There are flaws with the Florida job. Penn State might be where I go next. I'm going to make an argument for one other, and then we'll.
On 3 has put Heupel on LSU's big board. That's an interesting thought. I don't know that he would leave Tennessee, but if LSU offers you a job, you take that job.
I'd be curious who said that, or whose hot board that is. If it's an LSU on 3 site or what, because on 3 is extremely click based. You've seen guys like Brett McMurphy just totally sell out to clicks, guys that I used to respect, that just say some outlandish stuff these days to draw traffic. And I would love to be able to draw traffic off of a Tennessee message board. Absolutely. Yeah. Like, get me those clicks, please. Those guys are crazy. I don't think Heupel leaves for LSU unless things just go sour. I'll make a case for just kind of talk out loud, just word vomit, the 2 schools that I'm thinking about next. And it's Arkansas, and I'll compare that to Penn State. And my gut wanted me to say Arkansas because I'm thinking about this as a coach. What job would I rather take? Penn State, and this is the only reason why I would probably think about entertaining Arkansas over Penn State. Penn State just fired a coach that was there for 10 to 12 years, won every single year. He was in the midst. He made the playoffs last year in a 12-team playoff. He won a game, if not 2. It made it to the semifinals in last year's playoff game.
Yeah, they beat Boise State and who they beat? They beat the first. They beat somebody in the first.
Indiana.
Was it Indiana?
I think they beat Boise State and Indiana, if I'm not mistaken.
Notre Dame beat Indiana. I'll look it up.
Okay, I could be wrong. They won 2 games. They made it to the semifinals, and should have made the finals. They were 1 pass away from making it to the finals. But they just fired that guy. And so if you're a coach, I know that you're arrogant and you think that
they beat Kevin Jennings at SMU, then they beat Boise State, and then they got beat by Notre Dame.
And so it's like, what are the odds that I can do better than James Franklin and that they will stomach me for long enough if the goal is playoff semifinals every single year or I get fired? Like, that is just a weird spot to be in. Penn State is a good job when it comes to like always being in the playoffs. I feel like in the Big Ten, you're going to get at least 3 teams every year in the playoff, and your competition is Ohio State, Oregon, Michigan, and Indiana. Be in the top 3, and you're in. And I think that's a pretty good spot to start your season in every year. But they just fired a guy that went to the semifinals last year, and so it's just kind of a weird spot. And you compare that directly to an Arkansas job that's got money. You got Tyson and Walmart. They're all big donors into this program. You've got the money, and you're coming in and going to be allowed time to build something the right way. You're not coming in with expectations of winning the West or making the playoffs or doing anything other than, let's get to 6-6. Let's win an SEC game and let's build this the right way. I think that Arkansas job is attractive for somebody that's wanting to play the long game here and desires some leeway to get it built.
Yeah, agreed. So I think from a prestige, Penn State is a slightly better job. But I think if you look at it from an opportunity to start from scratch, the promise of backing of NIL money, and like you just talked about, they pulled the plug on a guy who was averaging 9 wins per season. Again, you can look at it, and the Big Ten is soft, is Charmin soft once you get outside of the separation, right? Like this year, it's Ohio State, Indiana, a slight gap, Oregon, and then a large gap before you get down to the rest of the conference. So you can go to a conference so you have the ability to win 8-9 games just because the softness is baked in your conference schedule. But Arkansas has already said that they're going to commit to a robust NIL fund for the next coach. Good, bad, and different. We've argued about why that's a terrible thing in the past, because why didn't you just do that for your previous coach?
But you have to say it now.
You got to say it now because you got Walmart, you got Tyson Chicken, you got JB Hunt, 3 of the biggest companies in America right there in your backyard in Northwest Arkansas that can make some massive contributions to your NIL fund. You go and build a team, i.e. Indiana, i.e. Texas Tech, where you can take a ton of money, throw it at a coach and say, go build the team that you want. Money is no option to us. I think that might give Arkansas a slight edge. ESPN has Arkansas ranked all the way down as the 6th best job opening. Penn State is number 2, Florida 3, Oklahoma State number 4, number 5, Virginia Tech, and then Arkansas as the 6th job. Oklahoma State's an interesting one, and I want to talk about it next because do we really know what the job is like in Oklahoma State? Right? They have a ton of money. They've got some NIL money. They've got some deep pockets, oil money, that Midwestern money out in Oklahoma State, in the Oklahoma area for sure. But Mike Gundy's been there for 20 years, and he's ran the program the same way until he finally checked out over the last couple of years. But they played for a Big 12 championship and the 21 and the 23 season. So it's not that far removed from success. That job is, to me, the biggest wild card of the bunch. Because if they've got a ton of money, you're in the Big 12 where you can be instantly competitive. You saw what Texas Tech literally did right down the road. You throw a ton of money, build a great team. But it's hard to follow the man, right? Like the guy that was there for 20-something years, you come in and find immediate success. That's wonderful, but it doesn't happen. More often than not, it doesn't happen. And so Oklahoma State is a huge wild card because the money is there. There's some rich folk, rich alumni, a deep NIL pocket there. But what is that job truly now that Mike Gundy is gone? Because we haven't known, you and I, and the vast majority of our life haven't known Oklahoma State any other way other than Mike Gundy's team.
Oh, there's no doubt at all. I totally forgot about that job, if I'm being honest with you. I think that job is a sleeping giant if they make the right hire here. I think that the Big 12 is a league that I think you could come in for the reasons you just said. You can come in and be competitive really, really quickly. I think that's a really good job. I think that's a really, really good job.
I think it could. So ESPN's, and we'll kind of talk about the Virginia Tech, UCLA, any other ones you want to talk about.
I'd put Oklahoma State over Arkansas.
Yeah,
I would.
So number 1 is LSU. Number 2 is Penn State. Number 3 is Florida. Number 4, Oklahoma State. Number 5, Virginia Tech. Number 6, Oklahoma. 7 is Stanford. And 8 is UCLA as their top 8 open jobs right now in Power
Wait,
4.
where'd you have Arkansas? I thought you said Arkansas was at 7.
Arkansas is number 6. Number 7
6.
is Stanford. Number 8, UCLA.
Wait, Stanford fired Frank Reich?
Mm-hmm.
When did
March
that happen?
They fired March 25th with the firing of Troy Taylor, is what they said. It's listed right here as an open job. Field Yates
Frank
is listed
Reich-
as an open job.
Frank Reich's the head coach at Stanford.
Not according to ESPN.com and Field Yates. I'm looking at both of them.
Okay. I thought
Maybe
I
he's the
believe
interim
you.
head coach there. But what I've got is March 25th, Troy Taylor was fired, and they've got Andrew Luck in his new role as the Stanford GM to be helping make a decision for the future of the Stanford Cardinal.
so. Frank Reich was hired as an interim. So what it was is that's a weird time to fire a coach, but that's when Andrew Luck took over as GM, and the first thing he did was just fired the coach. He didn't care when it was, and he brought in Frank Reich. I thought he hired him full time, but I guess that was just an interim capacity.
Yep. And so
I
they've
don't
got
want.
Andrew Luck at GM, and then their new athletic director is John Donahoe, who is the former CEO at Nike. So they've got 2 new leaders. in that
John
building.
Donahoe also taught electromagnetics at Mississippi State University.
I don't know about that.
I did not realize he also worked at Nike, and
Yeah,
he's
same
now.
guy.
It's got to be. It's got to be.
Gotta be. Gotta
I don't want any part of the Stanford job. Pass. I don't want to. I do not want to be the worst team in a conference that plays 95% of your games on the East Coast when
Exactly.
you are positioned in Northern California. I'm
Exactly.
all the way out on the Stanford job. Virginia Tech is weird. I don't really want any part of that job either. I would rank that pretty close to the bottom as well. They could luck up in getting Shane Beamer, and that seems to be a match made in heaven, to where the seat's getting a little hot, and he can still save a little bit of face and go to Virginia Tech at this point.
Mhm.
What other jobs are there? I don't want any part of those. I don't like either of those other jobs. Stanford, Virginia Tech.
Yeah,
UCLA is weird.
I don't
UCLA is
want any
weird
part
too.
of that. I don't want any part of the UCLA job because they don't care. You've got like all these football, you got all this opportunity in Southern California, and it just never. Like they haven't been good. Really, they've had a couple of spurts here and there, but since Troy Aikman, and so I just don't know that there's a lot of football passion and money there when they've got their baseball program's good, their basketball program's really good. It just feels like football is an afterthought when you could have one of the better programs in the country because of location, the weather. Again, you're playing in LA, like all the things that come with that. I like the Virginia Tech job a little bit, just to kind of just piggyback off your last statement before we move on. I think that there is an opportunity there. There's some history there. There's a great game day experience there with Sandstorm or
Inner Sandman.
Yeah, thank you. Inner Sandman. I was trying to say Sandstorm, but that's South Carolina. Inner Sandman. Blacksburg is a great place to go watch football and be a part of a winning culture. You got some pipelines there in Virginia, the DC area for some high school.
Nothing there.
But like, what does the NIL fund look like in this new day and age, right? Because you've had Justin Fuente and then you had Prize, the coaches there, and neither of them really panned out. Feels like Shane Beamer should go back there, get out of South Carolina, revisit, revamp his Pops football program. But do they try one more swing for a bigger coach? I like that job better than either Stanford or UCLA for sure.
I'd put UCLA on top of Virginia Tech just because of the location. They're playing in a better conference too. They're playing in the Big Ten. Jack Del Rio did a really good job at Virginia Tech before he was ushered out, and then they made a really bad hire, 2 bad hires in a row with going and getting the retread, the re-entry into college that was Chip Kelly. It just wasn't going to fit there, and then they hired the guy who has just no personality at all. I don't even remember his name. He was awful. Deshaun Foster made it, I don't know, maybe 14 months as the head coach at UCLA before they got rid of him. I think with the right hire at UCLA, you could be really competitive in the Big Ten. Not Oregon, not USC. I mean, not Ohio State, but you could be really competitive in the Big Ten.
I guess UCLA just doesn't do a whole lot for me. That job's just like, it just doesn't feel like the UCLA of old. I think there's better jobs in the Big Ten.
I'll put it to you this way. If you just want to talk about Lane Kiffin, UCLA would be much higher on his board than a lot of these other schools that we're talking about.
More so than Florida and some of them?
No, but tier 2, like LSU, Florida. If you told him, like, what's your I'm leaving Ole Miss, and I'm sick of this place. Northern Mississippi sucks. Where do you want to go? Rank your top 3. I think UCLA probably would be 3.
That's fair. Based on Lane and I think he's going to leave. If he leaves, it'll be for a warmer climate.
Yeah.
So
He would go to UCLA before he went to Penn State. I believe
100%,
that.
100%. I think that knowing Lane Kiffin, 100%. Penn State's got to go get somebody that just is a Midwestern guy that just loves cold weather, ugly football, like Matt Campbell comes to mind. Like that'd be a good
Dan
fit there.
Mullen.
Oh my God. I hope they get the Dan Mullen experience, brother. I do. I had it at Mississippi State. It got weird. He went to Florida, won. It got weird. It's been weird at UNLV, but they're winning. I hope Penn State gets the Dan Mullen experience that I had. But that's going to do it for your Tuesday edition of the $2 Sports Show. We got plenty of college football to talk about for the rest of the week. Tomorrow, we'll do our bear and bull market and get you ready for the Grizzlies game. On Thursday, you'll get our greased poll. And on Fridays, we will pick against a FanDuel spread like we always do. Drew, appreciate you being here with me. Thank you, everybody in the comments. Edward, showing up late, better late than never. Can't get here on time? Get here when you can, but you drop that like. Make sure you give us a like while you're here. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us. And until tomorrow, y'all go be a friend to somebody who needs a friend. And Drew, tell them why there are no refunds.
That's right, because with the $2, you always get what you pay for. Have a good day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the $2 Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. We'll see you back here next time.